And, of course, that means time to talk to the doc. Our feature every Tuesday morning presented by Mako's Pharmacy at 240 East 3rd Street in downtown Uricksville. Come in. You'll talk with a caring and knowledgeable staff, all focused on your health at Mako's Market and Pharmacy. And also this morning's segment being presented by Twin City Chiropractic, 205 Grant Street in downtown Denison. Dr. Mike Jakubowski and Dr. Andrew Worst, specializing in personalized chiropractic care, incorporating nutrition and promoting healing and wellness. And we say good morning to Dr. Tim Mcknight from Trinity Hospital, Twin City. Big lead in there. Yeah, lots of sponsorship.
Yeah, thank you. Good morning.
And we had hoped to have Dr. J with us. He could not make it today, so we hopefully will get him in studio maybe next week at this time. So in the meantime,
I will see him today, and I will make sure I drag him in somehow next week.
And of course, we're talking it seems like over and over since January we've been talking about the coronavirus, and I know you're following it at the hospital very closely, and I think from what I'm seeing, the curve looks to be flattening a bit.
Yeah, it looks like it too, to me as well. I've been following it every day, and we're not really seeing too many more cases here in Tuscarawas County. And I can tell you I've probably tested a half dozen patients, so they've all been negative. And that's the message that I'm hearing when I look to the local and state officials. It's about 1 out of 10 that we test are positive. So maybe not as prevalent, or at least the test is not picking people up, or maybe we're testing them too early. There's a lot of variables there.
And I think a lot has to do with our state taking action very early. And the numbers compared to the other states are just incredibly low, which has to make everybody that lives in Ohio feel pretty good about that.
Yeah, I agree. I think Governor DeWine's done a great job with that, and it's reassuring that he was aggressive so early.
But overall, the numbers continue to be staggering. 22,000 plus dead. And that number doubled in 6 days. That's the thing that really jumps out at me. So I mean,
sure.
it's not over by any means.
It's not over. It's aggressive, and people are getting very sick very quickly with it. It's kind of interesting how they go from flu-like symptoms to about day 10, where they really start having the respiratory problems and end up in the hospital. And once you're on a ventilator, the chance of survival is pretty low.
And that's frightening. And, we're hearing a lot of the celebrities that have come down with this. I know George Stephanopoulos from ABC tested positive, and he said he had 0 of the symptoms, but his wife said she had never been sicker in her life. So it's affecting each person differently.
Absolutely. And there's so much information we'll tease out of this once this is past us. But I always go back to our immune system is designed to manage this. This isn't the first virus. It's not going to be the last. And our immune system, for most of us, is taking care of this if we're exposed to it. So I think as much as we talk about all the bad cases and the people that are getting sick and dying, I think we need to also...
astronomical numbers of people that are surviving.
And some are even relatively asymptomatic, like George Stephanopoulos. So I think I've heard several different authors recently report the importance of vitamin D supplementation and vitamin C. We're doing intravenous vitamin C therapy, very aggressive, very high levels for those that are really sick, and we're having good results.
This has got to be right up your wheelhouse as far as a guy who is constantly preaching about supplements and vitamins, and this is the key. You got your immune system strong, you're going to have a better chance of fighting off a virus, not only this virus, but flu or anything else that comes along.
Yeah, it's a combination of not just supplementation, but good quality sleep, and just maintaining a positive attitude. I was listening to some work by Dr. Bruce Lipton, who's really popular and famous in this area of epigenetics. And he was talking about the coronavirus, and he was saying how important it is that we remain positive, and that we have these two battles going on, our immune system and our adrenal system. Adrenal system helps us deal with stress, and if we choose to be stressed out, the adrenal system requires so much energy that the immune system sort of gets left behind and neglected, and then it suffers. So he's a big proponent on, hey, let's just stay positive.
Right.
Let's not let this get us down emotionally. Let's try to be optimistic and do the things as much as possible that we normally do.
Another supplement, though, that you've mentioned in that scenario, if you're stressed or if you're not, is DHEA.
DHEA, that's in the adrenal system pathway, and a really interesting molecule. When you're stressed, the body says, "Let me help you with this," and it secretes cortisol. But after you've been stressed for weeks at a time, and the adrenal glands can't keep making that same high level of cortisol, then the body suffers, and it starts shuttling other good steroid hormones like estrogen and testosterone to make cortisol. Wow. But the one hormone that it prefers to shuttle, that is the probably the least important in terms of that pathway, is DHEA. So what we find is people who have chronic stress have low levels of DHEA. This is something that I take every night. I think it's important for many of us who really feel stressed to take DHEA, and it's over the counter.
It's amazing. Some of these supplements that are there can help you and to make your immune system stronger. And there has not been a situation like this that we've dealt with in our lifetime, where it's been a pandemic, and it's amazing when you look at the numbers across the world and how this thing just kind of exploded. And we do this every year with flu, it seems like, and colds, and flu takes its toll on lives as well. But this one, the way it regenerates and seems to be spreading, is the thing that has to make everybody gasp when they, like I say, the death numbers doubled in 6 days. That's pretty scary.
Yeah, absolutely. There's a lot of people that are affected by it, and when you see those numbers go up, it does provoke some anxiety. But it's interesting. 100 years from now, we're going to say, "My great grandpa Steve lived through that coronavirus thing," and look at all these people.
It's been cured for years.
Yeah,
we haven't dealt with that, but there'll be something else. Like you say, there's constantly something. Even a virus like this mutates and changes, and it's a whole new situation.
Right, and I think that's the message that I've been sort of screaming from the rooftops. We need to be prepared, and the best way to be prepared is boost your immune system. And I think the good hygiene measures are a real good take-home message from this.
I was thinking about that. How many people are carrying around their sanitizers, their hand sanitizers? We have got to be cleaner at this point than we've been in any point in our world. And is it a good thing or a bad thing? Are we making ourselves immune to?
Yeah. You're hearing people talk about what's going to happen and how we're going to, how's this going to impact us socially. I hope that doesn't mean we're going to wear a scarf and gloves everywhere we go in the future.
Right.
But I think, using your arm to cover your mouth when you cough, and washing your hands, and remembering when you come back from the grocery store, I touched a cart that maybe 20 other people touched that didn't wash their hands. I'm going to wash my hands.
Yes.
I think those things are the take-home message for me.
And it's a good thing.
Just be careful, but I hope we don't go overboard with this either.
Right. That's good to know. The other thing, too, from your side of it, and I know you like the science of medicine and how everything works, doctors and folks around the world that study this have got to be just learning so much each day, and this is going to help us in the future, I would think.
Yeah, I agree. I think we will learn a lot from this. We'll learn a lot from our response to it. And I just hope that we go back to the basics, that we don't get too fancy on treatments and vaccines as much as how do we prevent this, and how do we support our body's innate ability to heal. And that might be different from a lot of physicians and providers, but I really have confidence on self-healing mechanisms, and I don't want that to be overlooked.
That's a good point. And so that becomes there's a lot of people that are pro-vaccine, and then there's a lot of people that are anti-vaccine. Right. That's a very controversial area as well.
It is very controversial. It sort of depends on what side of the street you stand on, and you're not going to probably be easily persuaded to go to the other side. But vaccines have not been around for too long, and I know that some seem to be helpful, and I'm not convinced that others are. So This will be interesting to see how this plays out.
Absolutely.
But the one thing that I am opposed to is mandated vaccines, where they're, and I can understand why people would want to do that. But to tell me that I have to have this vaccine to get my driver's license or to go to a movie or something like that, I just hope that that never occurs.
Didn't we go through this with, say, polio? I mean, weren't you forced to get a vaccine for that at some
I wasn't
point,
around then, but I think that is the case.
Right,
It was almost everybody. I think all the school children had to get it.
Yeah,
So.
I thought so too. So, well, this is fascinating. Stay healthy, do the social distancing, and we're going to get through this. We are flattening that curve, at least here in the state of Ohio, but I believe New York even is seeing the peak at this point, which has to be good. I heard that China and Wuhan, where this all began, they are not getting new cases reported for the most part as well. So things are flattening.
Yeah, I think that's a good message, and I'm confident that here in this county, we're not going to see too much of an increase. I think it'll flatten and then drop down, and I'm confident that within a few weeks, the quarantine will be lifted and we'll be back out doing the things we normally do.
Can't wait for that. And of course, with that being said, Dr. J is all about getting that exercise and stretching and all of that stuff. So it's important to still get your workout. You just have to get a little more creative. Can't go to the gym. You got to do it at home or by yourself, as opposed to that workout partner that you're used to.
Absolutely. And I've noticed for myself, just not doing as much as I normally do. My back is stiffer. In the morning, I'm waking up with a stiff back, and I'm thinking, this body needs to move more, needs to twist and do more than what it's been doing. So I'm looking forward to
getting back
becoming
to
a little bit more
routine.
active than I've been.
Talk to the doc, Dr. Tim Mcknight from Trinity Hospital, Twin City, on a Tuesday morning. And again, the message from you today: eat well, sleep well, healthy, take your vitamins.
Healthy attitude, remain
and a great
positive,
attitude.
and let's just move forward.
Great advice. Appreciate it as always.
Thank you.
We'll do it again next week.
Okay.
All right, Dr. Tim Mcknight, and again, today's segment brought to you by Twin City Chiropractic, 205 Grant Street in downtown Denison. Dr. Mike Jakubowski, Dr. Andrew Wurst, and hopefully Dr. J in studio with us next week. And also presented by Mako's Pharmacy in downtown Uricksville, 240 East 3rd Street. Come in, very knowledgeable, caring staff focused on your health. Talk to the doc on WBTC 1540, 1019 FM.